Everything in this video is for general information and educational purposes only. Nothing presented constitutes financial product advice, personal advice, or a recommendation to acquire or deal in any financial products. Any examples are illustrative only and should not be relied upon as indicators of future performance, as past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
All right, everybody, just going to go through a quick video on how I trade the double smooth stochastic Blau indicator that's part of our premium indicator suite for swing trading Bitcoin on the 12-hour chart. So it's a combination of a few indicators plus LTBW, cipher, the fixed time frame cipher, and the double smooth stochastic. But the key is the double smooth stochastic Blau method is the one that I'm looking for the most, and then I'm just using the others as confluences of ranges or as overbought, oversold. Anyway, let's get into it. All right, everybody, just going to step through how I use the double smooth stochastic Blau method to do a bit of swing trading and other things that I'm looking at as sort of confluence and how to kind of get a better idea of which way it's going to move. Because as usual, any indicator is, it's just really a guide along the way. You'll be looking for other things other than just blindly buying and selling on any particular indicator. And if we can get some more sort of correlation and confluence between different ones, then yeah, we can get a little bit more confidence in the way it's going to behave. So I do actually put this template in my channel, or in the indicators general area. So I'll update everything regularly, and if you do use this, then or that template, you will actually see my squiggles on here as well. So it's actually quite a good way to share what's going on. So, yeah, once you copy across and save it as your own, then you lose some of that information. But anyway, that's fine. Anyway, we'll get you in a good starting position, and we can then just check the updates regularly and work out where we're going. At the moment, as you can see, we've just pushed back up into the inside the 365-day rolling VWAP, very area low, and also the developing. If you can't see that, I'll zoom in a bit. The developing yearly value area low as well. So as far as positioning at the moment is concerned, cautiously optimistic, I think, is the way I'm going with it at the moment. I'm not a massive believer of the halving was really driving Bitcoin all this time, as the halving is getting less and less relevant because less coins are being removed from the system, when every block there's less Bitcoin going out, so should be less people selling, or that's the old narrative. And yeah, sure, that may have worked previously, but now there's not really enough going out. There's so many millions more Bitcoin being changed hands on a regular basis than there is coins coming into the market. So you can just imagine that it's providing a little bit, but not a great deal. But anyway, you've probably heard that 1,000 times from different people. So if we're just looking at the charts though, I guess that's the kind of broader perspective, but we can always read in the charts as to what's going on, and normally a safer way to navigate these markets as well. So here in the on the 12-hour chart, I almost exclusively use this on the 12-hour chart with Bitcoin, just because I've backtested it and correlated some pretty easy ways to sort of keep yourself in or get yourself out of the market at various points. Unfortunately, at the moment, I can't give you a nice clear decision on this because we are actually slightly divergent on the indicator, and so therefore that would normally trigger me to say, well, we expect more down. The reason why I cannot be as confident as I normally would is that we do have this, I guess it just didn't go as high into the extreme overbought as it normally would. So this is just a little bit of a automatic rally. Hasn't really had a lot of momentum yet. There's not a lot of people too excited. I think there's a lot of people cautiously positioning at the moment. If we do actually maintain this sort of uptrend that's occurring here, then I think we'll get a bit more action. And you can see with my squiggles here, the previous video I did, live stream I was just talking about what to expect up here. So if we move up and move up more aggressively, then the double smooth stochastic Blau will move up into this extreme overbought area, and that might coincide with sort of a swing file of this area here, and then I would be basically removing some of my positions there at that point. But as we sit at the moment, we've had a kind of nice little double bottom on sort of shorter time frames on this 365-day rolling and the developing yearly, and so that's making me a little bit more bullish. You can see here the cipher's actually just popped in a green dot as well, so that means that the actual cipher signal and the simple moving average of that cipher have crossed over. So that's indicating a bit of a turn up here. And I also use the 8-hour in the cipher as well. So this is the cipher fixed time frame. So I like to keep multiple things on the go in this. If you've got enough real estate in your screen size, then it is good to have a few different things on there, and you can just quickly see what's going on. So most of the time, or the way I like to do this, is I have a stack of different templates, and if I go in here, you'll see that I've got I've got stacks. So if you've got the ability to do that, I would suggest just make a new one for everything you do. So you can see I've got e-scalping here. I've got 5-minute trading style split scanner, which is which I use for the liquidity hunter on the 30-minute and 15-minute. There's a few other different ones, so I don't have to keep swapping and changing everything. I can get everything the way I like it, and then just copy them across and make new ones, and then I can just jump to them as required, or if I see an alert come in. So anyway, let's get back to double smooth. Like this looks like we're going to actually get another green cross here if this moves up, and so that might mean that we do push on up here, and that's a good sign. But you can see here, even with the RSI, ever since the bottom here, we've just been sort of floating around in this mid zone. We haven't been a bit of chop back and forward, so there's not a lot of direction at the market, and this, to be honest, is still just really looking like a bit of a bear flag. So could still possibly do that, even if we do reject off this 100k level where all these other indicators are. It's getting a bit long for a bear flag, but it still could be such a signal. Anyway, but I'm kind of viewing this more as a bump and run. You can see we really did start cascading down. We've come off the previous yearly value area high, and then basically started moving up ever since then. And this is a great, really good example of the indicator. If I can just delete a couple of these things out of the way, you can see a bit better. So you can see here we got the green dot. So this was all happening over the weekend as well, all sort of like late Friday. So yeah, I was a bit cautious trying to jump in too early here, because there was likely that we just swing file that there. Once we got this green dot though going in, everything else was looking good. Then it was giving me much more confidence to enter and play this out. So, and you can see this happens on a few different times in the past. I normally run TD9 here as well, the CS9 indicator that I have labeled it, which is the conditional sequential. So you can, it's just basically some certain conditions which allow you to count up to a certain point. The P makes this, it's called perfected. So it just means that there was a strong move and the candle was either lower in this case or higher in this case than the previous 6 and 7. So that's all that one means. There's some rules that are written in one of the indicator channels. So if you ever have any questions about this, why it's like that, just hit me up and I'll point you in the right direction. As far as trading goes, ignoring this bit of a mess that's happening at the moment, if we go back and just see where we are as far as our swings and our so on, you can see at this point here was an excellent time to be de-risking. And maybe you're not into swing trading yet, or you're just wondering how this is done, or a nice way to start swing trading, then I recommend doing this, because these sort of moves play out over a few weeks. So even if you miss the top there, and we got this big down candle, which is given us this sort of pretty high volume there as well, you can still scale out through this period, right? And then once you get in another 9 and it swing files another area. So this one here wasn't super clear because the developing wasn't didn't actually bounce off the developing. We just had the CS9 give us that indication. But when you look down here, you can see that cipher was already extreme oversold, and we got the cross on the cipher as well. The double smooth stochastic was already extreme oversold. The cipher was already turning around as well, and the 8 hour has already given us the green. So this is why I like to put the 8 hour on. It kind of gives me a little bit of a inside information of what's going on, and you can see they are slightly divergent. They're not exactly the same, so you can't just sort of replace one with the other. Okay, moving on to how to combine this so that you can basically enter and exit positions. Basically, I will get rid of these for the moment. You can see that you're basically looking for this to give you the overall bias for the on the higher time frames, and then when you get into these extreme oversold areas or extreme overbought areas, and if you're looking for other triggers, maybe on even other time frames like the 1 hour or the 30-minute chart is always a good one, or the 4 hour chart. You can see that we had the TD9 coming in here on the 4 hour chart as well. and just looking for sort of more confluences, so that once you kind of get to that area where you think it's going to reverse at some point, it doesn't mean it's going to reverse straight away. You're looking for something else. So here we rode the one of the VWAP levels there. Not sure what that one was. I'll have to go to the replay to try and get the labels all back in. So that was the 365-day rolling VWAP and value area high. So you can see that we actually rode that one out, and you can see that how consistent this one was actually. So you want to be looking at all these things together, but use a 12-hour to get your bit of a bias going, and then once you sort of start being overextended or in either direction, then that's when you start looking at the lower time frames to decide on how you're actually going to trade, or when you're actually going to trade. And you're not gonna get it always. A lot of these really strong moves and reversals are happening at out of my time zone, so you just got to accept that as well. But you can try and put limit orders in various places if you like. I generally don't do that because then I don't have an idea of where to set my stop. So you can maybe just put a stop at a certain percentage or something like that. But I normally would prefer to actually have a real level or a physical level. But yeah, I guess you could have said, if you're going to come down to the previous yearly here and put your order in there. What time was that happening? So it was a pretty late one. So maybe you put that in there and have you stop down here. But that gives you quite a range there, so it makes it a bit difficult. But once you have the swing fail like this, and then you can decide where you put your stops in then. Anyway, that's how I like to trade it, and that's how I think you can use it. And so a really good example of how to use this on the lower time frames to get your bias first, and then how to trade on the lower time frames was when we were peaking here in at the beginning of October, when I just dropped the double smooth stochastic on this on the 4-screen 12-hour, and you can see here that we had moved up into this extreme area. And if I expand that a little bit, just so I don't have to flip between screens, you can see we were right up there. Why don't I get rid of that percent? And then you can see we kind of we got right up and right above the previous highs there as well. So one of the highest times, the highest values of the double smooth stochastic we'd had for quite some time. And on the chart you could see on the 4-hour we were just sort of starting to peak. We had this first swing fail. That was sort of my indication that we were slowing down, so I started getting out there, and then as we sort of put in this next peak, I was a little concerned we might actually just push on out of this. I'll just zoom in a bit more for you. But then as you can see, we ended up putting in this head and shoulders pattern in here, and this was all, we were just sweeping the previous all-time high. So for this for me was a massive red flag that we were peaking, had reaching some sort of climax, and then it was a good time to start taking profit. So I actually exited a very, very large chunk of my swing positions, and started scaling out lots of things. When we then failed to reach that there as well, just a bit of a confirmation that I was doing the right thing there. You probably could have said, this was just a bull flag coming in here, but to be honest, we had to come a long way down. So we didn't actually get the double smooth stochastic back down to this area here until after the big dump in October. So managed to save myself quite a bit of money there, and then managed to scale in and out a few times since then. So it's actually been quite a good move there. So that was quite a great example. And equally, for a buy-in example, we had this scaling down here, which you can see here on the double smooth stochastic 12-hour. You can see we're in that zone there where start looking for longs here. We get through here, we get a P on the get the TD9 perfected there, or the CS9 perfected, and then we just rode along the 365-day value area high, and then it was quite a good move up. I actually scaled out a fair bit just here as well, and then unfortunately missed an entry there. So I thought we there was a big CME gap down here at the time, so I was a little concerned about that. But look, that's all just part of trading. And then I've been in and out a few times along the way, but you can see just how that sort of works, gives you the overall bias. And it wasn't until we were back up to this area here that we were starting to look just overbought again, and then you could change your frame of mind, what you're thinking at the time. And equally, sort of these lows here ended up with a divergence on this one, so that's also a pretty good sign. Anyway, that's all for that example, and Once again, there's templates around to show you for the full screen chart for this one as well. It's also very similar, using the same sort of thing, but less so with the double smooth stochastic. I normally just use Bitcoin's. I guess when Bitcoin's going to reverse, then I look across to the other ones. I don't necessarily look at the double smooth stochastic on Ethereum or Bitcoin or Solana separately, because they're all very similar. So just using Bitcoin as the guide on the higher time frames to get the bias, and then we'll be looking at things like BTC, Solana, Sui, and ETH to get some trades. Look for swing files, look for lower time frame indicators that are going to get you in at a tighter entry. Anyway, that's about all for now, and if you have any questions, just hit me up in the Discord. Thanks and happy hunting.